Okay, I have a question, which is there is this, I think, sense, you hear this in Dem professional circles all the time, that Republicans are so much better coordinated on messaging that, you know, the clarion call goes out and everybody says their thing. And, you know, there's the group chats that Benny Johnson is in with Donald Trump himself and, you know, and whatever. Like, what actually goes on behind the scenes? Or do you look at that and go like, there's no, like, it just kind of happens?
I think there's probably some of both. I'm sure I'm not in the group chat, so like I don't.
You're like, I'm not in the party.
I don't know. Do you guys not have like? I feel like literally journo list is like my like first thought of how does the coordinate like the in group. How do they talk about and coordinate messaging? Like these things just kind of happen organically. How they manifest in public, I think is a different question. But like, I think there's a theory that like, oh, there's like this highly orchestrated thing. Like, I think it's just grown up over time in part because like, you think about the right and the movement, they've been thinking themselves as a counterculture for literal decades. And so this is just kind of an outgrowth of that. In terms of operationalizing like influencers and stuff, I think there's a whole ecosystem growing up around that. And you guys are probably going through it as well. I mean, I'm watching whatever the group is, try to literally like get kids on the payroll to like develop influencer followings and stuff. So like everybody's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, the coordination, I think there's like organic ties that happen because people come up through the same channels.
Right.
And then it's just a matter of what do you do with that. But I think people are genuinely aligned for the most part. It only like becomes blatant when you see people saying things that don't seem authentic.
Right.
And then you realize like, wait, I mean, literally going back to solar thing.
Right.
Yeah.
When you have like MAGA influencers.
Yeah.
We love solar, don't we, folks? Like,
You're like, wait, what?
And also, Qatar's a great country.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay.
The other thing is like the reason that stuff works is because it is authentic.
Right.
It is aligned with those people's identities and with what their audience want to hear. So the reason it like you get a rim shot is you have an influencer saying a thing that's off key. That's not even going to be effective, and they look stupid. So.
Right. We had a thing. I used to work at Obama's Organizing for Action, and like when he was trying to get people behind stuff that didn't jive with what the base already felt, you know, we're like, everyone should be tweeting about how chained CPI is good, and they were like, no.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
I do think there's something to like the right has this thing where you guys kind of have a million people taking a million shots, trying a bunch of different things. And then when one thing works for a person over here, everyone else starts trying it because the incentives are there. And then like there is an architecture that goes like, oh, well, that's generating heat on the internet. Now it's going to go on Fox. And then Trump is like, all right, I'm going to talk about it. And it like works its way up the chain. And like Democrats are like, well, the most persuasive message is, and so we all need to be saying it.
Our messaging ecosystem is like someone says like, I think we should expand healthcare, and then someone else is like, you're a fucking neoliberal shill, and then we're like, you're an anti-Semite, and then we're like, vote blue. That's how it goes.
But I think Republicans have, there's all sorts of interesting conflict that he's kind of papered over.
He's very good
like
at that.
there was a lot, like if you think mid 2010s, right before he did come on, and even once he did, he was like, he was in some ways the thing that everybody was arguing over. This. So it happened, he won. Right. It was like, oh no, he's good now.
Nobody knows anything.